Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so I just for the first time took a look at the new Tudors, the 2019 releases, and all right, well, I'm just going to talk about one watch now because I've really only looked at one watch, the Black Bay P01. Wow, all right, link in the description, check it out. My reactions to it. All right, well, when I first saw it, it kind of looked Explorer 2-ish, so I thought they had come out with a steel bezeled GMT function watch. Okay, no GMT function on there. Speaking of functions, it's got date, it's got a rotating bezel. Other notable features, there's a crown at the 4 o'clock position, which is a little odd, kind of different. Don't know if they should have done that. That's kind of Squally-esque. Let's see, it comes on a hybrid leather rubber strap, which doesn't make much sense to me because, look, it's got leather on it, so you can't get it wet. But I guess like on a hot summer day, the rubber will be by your skin, so you get that leather aesthetic without getting your sweat all up under real leather. So it sort of makes sense, but I really think they should have included a rubber strap, a leather strap and a rubber strap, then you can have what you need, because this really isn't a watch you can swim with now, and there's really no way to make it a watch you can swim with, I guess, unless you can put it on a NATO or something sort of aftermarket. So I don't think that was a good move there. All right, this is a watch based on a prototype that they started developing with the U.S. Navy in 1967, and it really never came into production. But this is sort of based on that prototype and that one sort of honestly insignificant bit of history. All right, so it has an interesting bezel, I guess bezel mechanical thing. All right, it's the end link comes up over the bezel, and in that sense it kind of reminds me of my hydronaut in the sense that the bezel sort of is like integrated into the case in a way, right? Completely different than the hydronaut, but you can see just at least a little bit of elements there. Perhaps that one in the 1960s went on to become the hydronaut, or at least inspired aspects of the hydronaut. But the end link comes up over the bezel and locks it. Okay, so it's kind of, well, I can't say it's new. It was an old design, but it's unique. And that's really as favorable a comment as you can make about it. It's unique. I think it's kind of gimmicky, to be honest. I don't know if it's practical. I don't really like the idea of the end links going up over the bezel, covering the bezel. I don't know if you can change straps on this watch. If the end links are so integrated into the workings of the bezel, I don't know if that's going to mess that up. All right, so anyway, I think it's kind of gimmicky, so it doesn't make much sense to me. All right, now let's talk about what's on the bezel, because I think this is the worst thing. It's got like a 12-hour bezel. And I remember when it was an Omega, I think it was like an Omega Bond something, and it came out on the Bond strap, and they had the same bezel on there. It was like the 12-hour bezel, and it made no sense to me because, yeah, you can use it, I suppose, as a GMT in a way, but look, if you set it, it's not a GMT because it doesn't tell you whether it's AM or PM. So yeah, I mean, you could use it in the same way. You could set it to, say, Eastern Standard Time in the United States, and you would know that it was, as I check my Casio, all right, so I guess it's about, okay, so it's about Okay, so it's 8:40 here, so I think so it's 6:40 a.m. there. Okay. So you could set it to so you look down and it would say 6. But you just have to remember that it was AM there instead of PM. And so that's just sort of an extra step. And it feels incomplete to me if you're going to use it as a GMT for another time zone. I guess if you're in, say, Washington, D.C., and you want to keep track of time in California, that would make sense. That's kind of okay. But on the other side of the world, you just have to sort of remember, okay, the time that I'm seeing, it's going to be PM or AM. Okay, it's not that big of a deal, but it seems clunky. It just doesn't seem as tight as the way a GMT, the 24-hour hand functions. I mean, that's tight. It tells you, not only the time, but also AM or PM. And they're leaving the AM and PM off. And I think it's sort of a cheap way to do a second time zone, because you get a 3-hander and you just put that on there and you can kind of make it into a 2 time zone watch. But again, it's the low budget version for sure. So I'm not impressed by that watch. It's a good looking watch, kind of. I like the case and the dial. I don't know that I like once you get towards the end links onto the bracelet, I don't know, it starts to lose me a little bit. They should have had more bracelet choices. Hopefully they do. I don't know if they don't. I think that's unfortunate. Yeah, it seemed like they dug something up from their past, something that we didn't know about, and I don't know if we really care about, and made a tribute to that. Yay. So I'm not impressed by that. They could, they could have, I don't know, it is what it is. It's a tribute to that failed venture with the U.S. Navy. So it's a shame because it's got, there are attractive aspects to it, and I feel like it fails, and especially with the choice of what they put on the bezel. I mean, I guess, look, I think we're kind of we all have enough of the sort of the timing bezel things. We got that, all right. I mean, those are a dime a dozen, and so this is different at least, but I almost would prefer just the timing bezel because I just don't think this will be very useful. They could have put hash marks on it. They could have put little minute marks on it as well, and that way you could have used it as a timing bezel, but you really can't. I don't know. They never really tell you how you use the bezel. They just say it's a graduated 12-hour bezel, so maybe it's for you to figure out. I guess it could be to time hours, Anyway, let me know what you guys think about it. I think it's a puzzling watch, and I don't quite understand it, and I don't want to hate it. I kind of want to like it, but yeah, it seems like a fail to me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.